It's the end of the world, as we know.
And we're back.
Tim,
what's going on, everybody?
fine.
I'm Tim. That's Adam.
I'm
We're
Adam.
hanging out.
That's Tim. We're hanging out.
There's a ton of news.
Yes, there
It's
is.
it's starting to get crazy because I guess people are freaking out. But I have this really funny article that I wanted to lead with. Yahoo actually published this guy. Hell is coming. Here is the mathematical proof. But this is truly a glorious idol statue for the late stage capitalism.
Yeah. I guess,
The guy ends the first
so.
like the story is hilarious. It's basically like
It's not hilarious.
No, it is.
There's
it's not
a coin of humor in there.
right. Basically, this guy wrote an article where he's like, hundreds of thousands will die. So we're bullish on hospital stocks. Make sure you invest. There's gonna be a great return after everyone dies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. But there's a bunch of other stuff too. So we've got Illinois is now in lockdown. We got the big three. That's Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, all closed.
Makes sense.
It's spreading. The lockdowns are coming, and we have a media that is begging for a national lockdown. Begging for it. So there's been a bunch of articles saying, like, it's going to happen, it's coming, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have one from the Hill literally saying, shut us down, please, Mr. President. Bring on the martial law and send out the army and all that stuff. They're doing that in Italy. And so I decided, take a look at these people that are clamoring for a national lockdown as we're looking at a country actually doing it. So first of all, China did it.
Yeah.
They're, insane, locking people in their homes and stuff like that. And then we have Italy that is now bringing out the army to enforce the lockdown. Like, people in Britain and in Spain are getting arrested for breaking quarantine. There's some reports that it's happening in Israel too.
In France too, right? Or no?
I don't know.
I read.
Probably.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. And so now we have people in our own country saying that we need the military to come out. There have been a bunch of viral videos of like Humvees and military vehicles on trains being like shipped through Chicago and stuff like that. People are freaking out.
Tagging me in that.
But I think it's going to happen. You know why? We've got data showing that, and we were pointing out before the show, the data might be unfair.
Right.
But it shows that the U.S. is tracking faster than Italy. And according to one bit of data, the U.S. is seeing more cases of coronavirus. It's growing faster percentage-wise than any other country.
Right.
So our curve of growth and infection rates is steeper than all the other countries. Now, that's percentage-based. So the thing about the Italy stuff is that we got a much bigger population. So if we see more cases, well, that's just because we have way more people.
Yeah, but the percentage is where
where starts to get freaky. So
yeah.
We just had, I think, like 675 deaths in one day in Italy.
That's a lot.
And you want to know why they brought in the military?
Just to move the bodies, right?
To move the bodies.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. People are underestimating this, and
I saw some videos. They're doing it at night, so it doesn't freak people out.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, man. Yeah, the end is nigh. So last night, as soon as we finished the show, I made sure to run into the middle of the street in front of my house and started just doing the Joker dance.
Yeah, you did.
I just had to do it.
I took one foot on and I was like, this is too much. I can't do it.
But it was a matter of principle.
Yeah.
I will not be contained. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I want to go back inside. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Came back in.
Like,
I got nowhere to go.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Let's just go back inside.
So let's just jump into it.
Let's just do it. Let's dive in.
Before we do, if you guys want to hop in the super chat, we'll read your comments. As most of you know, once we start getting inundated with too many super chats, we have to sort of speed things up, and we've been getting really slammed. I appreciate all the support for sure. So we'll do our best to read as many as we can in between the segments. And we got a ton of stories. Celebrities are going insane.
Yeah.
Which is
It's not really surprising though, because most celebrities are insane.
Yeah, they're like,
aren't they? I mean,
they're egotistical, narcissistic, and so they're
Yeah.
like, they react weird when they have no attention.
Well, and I mean, we were talking about YouTubers would get depressed when their views are down. Imagine like A-list celebrities that are used to just like paparazzi, like,
Yep.
what are you doing? What are you doing? And they're
Now
just,
locked
like,
in their bathroom.
Now they're in their homes with absolutely nothing.
Oh, I'm
They're
sorry, I
like,
said-
wait a minute.
I said, dude, that floorbo Sam Smith was apparently crying.
Oh yeah,
breaking
right.
down, having a mental breakdown.
I don't even know who that is.
It's Floorbo's the Floorbo who I can't do it. It's this guy. He's a guy. I'm sorry, he's a dude. This is the dude that got sued by Tom Petty for. He did that song? It's like, I won't back down.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah, I Won't Back Down.
I remember this whole thing.
And then his song was like a slower version that was only similar
Stay
in that
With
one
Me.
part.
Yeah.
And he got sued. I thought that was kind of dumb because.
And Tom Petty won, right?
Yeah. I think it's stupid because Sam
Yeah.
Smith's like he's like 20.
Did he even know who Tom Petty was?
That's what he says. Like, I don't even know who this guy is. Like, I've never heard this song before.
I don't even know.
You know, it was the craziest thing.
And then we
too.
find out that his mom played it like while she was in his womb or in her womb.
Well, this happens.
With the headphones over,
No, it's not that. It happens a lot that people will hear a song
right on the radio and
they won't know. They'll start humming it.
Yeah, it happened to me.
Like,
happened to me the other day. What was that song?
Oh, that was the Billie Eilish song.
Yeah, Billie Eilish song.
Yeah.
Did you say Billie Eilish?
I did. That's what I call her.
Oh, Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
You know what's really crazy though? Remember that song? What's it called? You know the one where like the three dudes are like dancing and then Blurred Lines, and like the naked women are dancing and stuff. They got sued and lost.
Really?
Because the beat sounded too much like a Marvin Gaye song beat.
Really?
That's insane to me. It's like we're talking about like a drum rhythm, and they got sued over it.
All I know is the Weird Al song Word Crimes.
Yes.
Word Crimes came out, and that was amazing.
That's a good song.
It's so good. Everyone needs to go check that song out. If
The
you
music
don't know
video.
it.
The music video is awesome.
It's so good. Yeah, and the music video is awesome too. So.
All right, let's read the story. Hell is coming. Here is the mathematical proof.
Drama.
And then from there, we'll take a look at reality.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what this guy says, and I'm not going to read too much of that because we don't need to go through his math, but he says, right now, 2 million Americans are infected with the coronavirus. The total U.S. death toll by April 15th will be more than 20,000. We estimate that 80,000 of the 2 million infected Americans will be hospitalized over the next 2 weeks. That's why we are short-term bullish on hospital stocks. There's your financial advice.
Was he trying to like throw some humor in there? Or
No,
was
this
he
is a legit financial advisory newsletter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So first of all, I don't know where he's getting that number. 2 million Americans are infected.
Yeah,
I think he's extrapolating. So he goes through the math. He basically makes an estimation based off of. So when you look at the Japanese Diamond Princess,
Okay.
he looked at the amount of people on the ship, the amount that were tested, the amount that were positive, and the amount that were died, and then from there blows up his estimation to American proportions and comes to the conclusion there are 2 million people who are infected. I think it's all silly, but sure, whatever. But what's really funny about the story is that it's basically this long explanation of how Trump is shifting the blame to China and we're gonna have all these people dying. In the average recession, the S&P 500 index declines by 32%. Do you think this is going to be an average recession? So here's what he says. Hospital stocks will financially benefit from near 100% utilization rates because usually their utilization rates hover around 50%. So it's basically this is where we are today. So
it's great for anyone who has stocks in hospitals.
Yes, and he's advising you to short-term do it. There was another there was another bit of financial advice I was reading where they basically said this is going to come in waves. Everyone's predicting there'll be another wave in November, and that we might actually go into 2 months of lockdown, 1 month of open activity, 2 months of lockdown, 1 month open, until everyone gets it and then they're immune to it.
Oh man.
Yeah, and that'll go on for nearly 2 years
until the vaccine arrives.
November, December 2021. That was MIT Review wrote that story, and because of that, people are saying, like these financial advisors are saying, don't get back in the market, period. And they were like, put options, like bet the stocks will fail.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
That's what I'm thinking. Like I have zero interest. I was like, when it first started happening, and it was still like, is it a scare? Is this real? And there was like the first day there was like that massive drop, and I was like, oh, maybe I should buy some stocks. And I didn't.
Yeah, it was at 25.
And I'm glad I didn't. And now I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this at all.
That's people now it dipped briefly below like 1900. It's crazy, man.
I mean,
that's crazy.
It's gonna keep dropping, don't you think? I mean.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, check this out. Boom.
Wow.
COVID-19 cumulative cases, U.S. versus Italy, 11-day lag. So apparently what they're trying to do with these graphs, and we've seen graphs like this before, is to sync up first reported cases from the U.S. to Italy or something. So the dates don't really make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
But you can see that the growth. So perhaps this is a different chart. Maybe they're graphing by the amount of people infected, period. But what we end up seeing is that by March 20th, relative to where Italy was when they saw their first infected, we're almost double.
Yeah. And
the thing that's the really important factor here is that the U.S. is above a 33% daily increase. And I believe there's the only other country that's close is Spain, and Spain is actually just below that. So the UK is just below it too. I think the US might be the only country now that's well above a 33% daily increase. That means every 2 days we're more than, or, you know, we're adding, well, there you go, 33% daily increase. We're also, according to that first article, doubling our deaths every 3 days.
Wow.
And we're doubling the total infections every 2 or 3 days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Welcome to the lockdown, man. It's coming.
Yeah.
What's your plan?
It feels like we need it. And like everyone, I mean, we see this and we see what's happening. It's like, who's going to be upset about it? Who's going to want to go outside? I don't want to go to the store.
I know, me neither.
I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay in this house and stay away from people.
But you know what gets me, like, it's kind of crazy that you always hear these dystopian stories about how the government's going to come down and demand, you know, they're going to lock you in your home. You're not going to be able to speak or say things.
Mm-hmm.
No, everyone's begging for it right now. They're saying, please lock us in our homes.
Well, remember in 1984, we never thought it would be voluntary that they'd be watching us with cameras either. And yet here we are. We want to be in front of cameras.
Exactly. You know what it was? Somebody read 1984 and they were like, you know what? It's not an instruction manual, that meme where they're like, 1984 wasn't supposed to be an instruction manual, and they held up signs saying it. No, it wasn't. It was like tips and tricks, you know?
Yeah.
So basically the authoritarians looked at it and they're like, oh, that's why these things don't work.
We need to make them want to do that.
Yes, that's how democracy dies, with thunderous applause.
Yeah.
Is that
And
the
like
line from Star Wars?
A year from now, we find out coronavirus was not as bad as we think it is.
It's going to be like...
No, I know, but then, you know, they put it in these laws, like in very fine print at the very bottom, that this is just the way it is now.
No, dude.
We just can't go out.
You're not going to find out. It's
never
going
know.
it's going to be, 20 years, and then there's going to be some dude who like finds an old file and like blows it off, and he like and he opens it up, and then it's like the conspiracy, and he's going to go, my God. And then there's going to be someone, you couldn't leave well enough alone, could you, Pritzker?
And injects him with a needle of a coronavirus.
No. Yeah.
The governor of Illinois, Pritzker.
Oh, is that? No,
That's
I
his
was.
name.
Oh, really?
That's his name.
I was just trying to come up with a random name for
Well,
like
he
the
came up with
journalist
it from earlier today.
Oh, you know
I
what it is?
guess.
It's actually because I'm looking at it right now.
That's really
probably
funny.
what it was. I didn't even realize. I'm looking at
see,
the
it's
article.
like the Sam Smith thing. There you go.
Yeah. Or it could be that Governor Pritzker uncovers the coronavirus
Oh my
conspiracy in
gosh,
20 years.
yeah. That's
He's like
why
an
his
old.
state's on lockdown.
He's an old man, and he's like, I can't believe it. It was a trick. And they're like, you couldn't leave well enough alone, could you, Pritzker? Pritzker. Yeah, I must have. I was reading it, and I just like picked up the name.
Wow.
But well, let's do this first. So, Illinois is under lockdown, obviously, and
Bean.
New York is in a shelter in place. It's funny because I was talking to a friend up in New York, and they were like, I'm going to leave. I don't want to be stuck in the city. And I was like, leave now. A week ago, leave now. And he's like, I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm like, they're going to make you stay in your house. And he's
Yeah.
like, they won't be able to enforce it. I'm like, dude.
Watch.
Yeah, watch.
Well, there you go,
Exactly.
buddy. There you go, buddy. Enjoy being in New York.
Enjoy being in
Well,
your
he's
house.
got till Sunday.
Right.
He's got-
It's true.
He needs to leave now or tomorrow,
You know what,
and
man?
not touch anyone.
Right.
Stay. Well,
New York is-
he was over here like a couple weeks ago, so
Bumping feet with us.
yeah, he was like, you can touch my elbow.
Well, New York is the
I was like,
epicenter
"Alright,
now.
word." Yeah, right. It
What-
was
what-
Seattle.
What? Yeah.
It
Now
was
it's-
Seattle.
That's crazy. Now it's
Now
New York.
It's New York. Which that's what I said it. I knew it was gonna happen. As soon as it hit New York, it was gonna be like boom, and sure enough.
Dude, New York's so dense.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so many people there.
And have you gone to their like fish markets?
No, I never.
Like when you go to Chinatown,
I never
in
liked
Manhattan,
fish. I was never a big.
It's
fan.
just like open trays of fish over ice. It's
Yeah.
like,
oh yeah,
yeah, dude.
I would skate past it sometimes.
You know, Manhattan has a certain aroma that I would say is akin to sour milk.
it depends on the season, actually.
Yes. The
In midsummer, it is
sour milk.
ripe.
The city smells so bad.
It really does,
Dude.
But if you're skating fast enough, you
Yeah.
skate past the smells.
You know what's really crazy to me is that I've been to a bunch of different countries.
Mm-hmm.
One of the craziest things I've ever experienced was I was in Morocco,
Okay.
and I was transferring. I landed in Casablanca, and I was transferring then to Marrakesh, and so I'm in the Casablanca airport, and I'm following the signs to find my connecting flight. When all of a sudden the lights, as I'm walking down the hall, slowly stop working, flickering, and then off. And there's a sign pointing, and I turn, and it's just dark, like no lights at all.
What?
And there's like holes in the wall, and I'm like, clearly I must have taken a wrong turn.
Yeah.
And I am no longer in the functioning part of the airport. When all of a sudden a guy in a suit, like normal looking, like American kind of guy,
Yeah.
he just like walks past me wheeling his suitcase, and I'm like, oh, I'll follow this guy.
Yeah.
And then as we made our way through, it really did look like I was in an abandoned building. And then eventually we made it to an open area where the lights started turning back on, and there were some shops, and this was like normal looking and clean, and I was like, that was crazy, right? So anyway, I bring that up because it's a funny story, but I've been to a bunch of these countries, and I always kind of look around at the ground and stuff.
Okay.
And I find it interesting, like in Egypt, driving along the highway, you can see a bunch of buildings that are falling apart or like never finished being built.
All
And
right.
I was like, wow. And then I came back to the US, and I was like, I'm glad to be back in America where everything's like, you know, built and put together. And then I was in Brooklyn, and I was like,
No.
well then.
Wait a minute.
Like seriously, there are parts of Brooklyn
I know,
that
that's
are
true.
busy areas where all there's like rows of buildings that are just boarded up and empty, and I'm like,
Yep.
I have to wonder, is this a simulation, and are those the ones they never bothered to design the inside of, and that's why you can't go in them?
Well, there's been an uptake of like rent control running out.
Yeah.
So people no longer can afford. The landlords suddenly go from getting $500 a month to demanding $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month.
wow.
CBGBs was like $1,200
Yeah.
a month for a while, and then the landlord was like, "All right, $10,000 now,"
Yeah.
and CBGB was like, "Okay, we're closed.
Right into somebody else.
Sorry."
Yeah, but basically,
Shame.
Manhattan.
But it's happening all over the place.
Yeah. But like even in Manhattan, take a look at the ground, man.
Yeah, there's trash everywhere.
It's trash, it's cracked, it's brittle and broken, the buildings look awful.
That's one of the biggest things I couldn't stand about New York. I actually watched my neighbor walk out to her car and open the door and clean her car out by just throwing trash on the ground.
Dude.
Just like, not a little bit of trash, all of the trash.
Oh, dude.
I was
I have s-
flabbergasted. I didn't know what to do.
I have seen people driving in Manhattan open their doors and just kick out trash.
Yeah,
Just
what-
like all over the street.
stand it. I
That
can't
place
stand it.
And that's why it's like, I kid you not, skating in Manhattan gives you a certain perspective.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize, because you have to dodge the sour milk in
You got
the
to dodge
gutters.
a lot. You got to dodge people, tourists, cars, cabs.
Well, that's
buses,
normal. That's everywhere. That's
trash.
Chicago. That's LA.
Yeah.
But in New York-
no, LA is not like New York.
Oh,
Chicago
right.
isn't either.
Well, downtown Chicago.
No,
But
Chicago is spread out. Chicago's like a pushed out, spread
downtown
apart.
Chicago,
Yeah,
you're dodging people.
I've skated around downtown.
But Manhattan is like New York City is like 5 downtown Chicagos all jammed into one.
Yeah, pushed together.
Yeah. But I frequently dodge. There's like the water has like a hint of milk in it in New York, everywhere,
Yeah.
like all the time, and you can smell it.
And Chicago dyes the water green,
Yeah.
and it just stays green.
Remember when Dave Matthews
It's like,
Band?
they don't even need to dye it anymore. They're just, it's already green. We're good.
Remember when Dave Matthews Band bus drove over the bridge and the guy pulled the sewage line and dumped it all over the people on that boat?
No.
You didn't know that?
Are you serious?
So get this. This happened. And I'm pretty sure.
Gross.
I'm pretty sure it was Dave Matthews Band. I don't want to get
Were
sued.
they like, well, it's Dave Matthews poop, so.
No, the band
Just
didn't
kidding.
know.
Oh, the band didn't.
But so there was a riverboat with like people having like a wedding or something. They're all like fancy
Oh,
suits and
no.
like sipping their wine.
Oh my God.
And they went under the bridge right as the bus went over it. And the bus driver was like, I don't want to deal with going to the RV camp to drain the
Yeah,
toilet.
yeah.
So he just pulled it and it sprayed everything. Dude, people don't understand. Listen,
Oh, I laugh, but that is so gross. I feel
don't-
so bad for those people.
I don't know if you've ever actually dealt with draining an RV.
I have.
Yo,
I've lived in an
man.
RV for a while.
The black water,
Travel around Europe.
it's black slime.
Yeah, it melts
Spray.
everything away.
Yep. Into
Well,
a
it's actually it's not that bad actually when you have a good there's these like canister things that you go outside and you pull
Oh,
it
no.
out.
I'm not talking about draining it. I'm talking about what it is and spraying all over a bunch of people who are on the boat.
Yes, I know what it is,
Dude.
and that's why I feel really bad for
I
those
would jump.
people.
I'd jump in the river. I'd be like, ah, and I'd just jump over, like everything else be damned.
Yeah, how else can you get rid of it? Like get it off you quickly.
I'm really appreciating how we totally deviated off of
Yeah, I
like
was
the
gonna
world
say, wow.
ending
Who cares?
into like who cares?
Who cares? It was a great story.
Worth it.
I'm
Yeah.
skeeved out, but it
Yeah.
was worth it.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe you missed that one. That was huge.
No, I know.
Yeah,
The
that was
band-
the Dave Matthews Band.
Well, I left Chicago when I was 19, so I was like, I don't know, 16 years ago or something.
Wow.
17 years ago.
Yeah.
you left before it happened. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was still big news.
Yeah, but I
Imagine
don't really
that.
pay attention to much outside of my world. You know, I'm
Well,
pretty
anyway,
much
man, I'll
doing
tell you
my
what.
thing.
You know, I think where we can tie this all in is, I've spent all of my life in big cities, except for
Yeah.
like the brief stint. We had a year in Miami. We were in the like the Redlands.
The boonies. We
I
were in the
mean-
boonies, man.
Yeah, but relative to like some rural areas I've spent time in, not so much. Like, yes, not big city. We were 40 miles outside of Miami, but it was still like relatively. I wouldn't call it a suburb.
I mean, yeah.
I guess technically it is.
It was.
It's crazy.
I didn't think of it as a suburb. No.
Do you know that? What was that city that was it hometown or something? Home something?
Redlands?
No. Just south of us. I don't even remember.
I know. I don't remember the name of it.
But that's where one of the detention facilities was, where like the kids in cages were supposedly being held. Like literally like a few miles away from where we lived.
Wow, right there.
Yep. What was that place called? I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
sure.
remember.
I'm sure people know. But here's the thing, man. I've actually now gone to many more rural places.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I was driving, I drove all the way in the country several times, and I decided on one of my trips to actually just get off the interstate and take like U.S. roads and like county roads. Very different.
It's so
different.
Yo.
It didn't smell like sour milk. You know, it's surprising when you get out there and the cities in this country are filthy.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, man.
And the people that live there are filthy.
They are. They're very filthy.
But
they're entitled.
It's pretty
and
much
angry
America, though. I mean, well, I can't say for the rest of the world, but I've traveled around Europe a lot. And when I was living in the RV, and people throw away their trash. There's no trash on the grounds. I mean, I saw it. It was there, but not very, very often. I mean, I looked for it. I was like, man, there's really nothing. And then I started looking for it, and then I'd be like, whoa, there's a piece of trash. Oh, no. No, that's not trash. That was something else. But
you want to hear a funny Chicago story?
Of course.
I was downtown, and they had this big bin. It was like a rectangular-shaped garbage thing.
Okay.
And on one side, it said it was like recycling, and the other side was garbage. And then I looked in, and guess what it was?
What?
It was a chute going into one garbage can. I'm like, there you go.
Wow.
It was like no matter what you put in, it was like into the trash. But it makes you feel better, right?
Sure.
So yeah, Illinois is being locked down now. I don't know what they expect to happen, but check this out. Let's jump back into it. Could Trump declare national coronavirus shutdown? Momentum is rising. And might I add, it's also, I mean, yeah, momentum is rising. You're the ones who published this. Shut us down already, Mr. President. This is a scary article, dude.
Yeah.
The dude basically says, bring in the martial law. Here it is. Look at it. I'm talking martial law. Do it. You said you're now a wartime president, so act like one.
Jeez.
All businesses should be closed, except the essential ones. And that list should be carefully constructed. No travel, no planes, no cars, no movement. We stay in our homes and leave only to get food, go to the doctor, or walk our dogs.
Or walk our dogs.
I love the dog walking part.
Yeah,
it's like the world is ending. Bring on martial law, but we have to walk our dogs.
But let us walk our. He clearly has a dog.
He clearly has a dog. Well, I mean, dude, going back to the cities.
Non-essential businesses should be closed down. Do you hear about GameStop is claiming they're essential?
Dude, they don't even sell games anymore. Like they do, but they're trying to become a knick-knack store.
They're the Blockbuster of gaming. I tweeted this last night, and it's like I don't go buy games anymore. I download my games.
We go to the mall.
I was playing. Yeah, I was downloaded Doom, and it's been great.
We go to the mall.
No discs.
We go to the mall. We walk into GameStop, look at the games that are listed, and go, "Ooh, I'm gonna go download that when I get home."
Yeah.
Right?
No, I don't do that.
But that's what they're trying to do now is they're trying to sell knickknacks.
Yeah.
Like if you want to get your little Link and Zelda dolls, you gotta go to GameStop.
Yeah. So they're Blockbuster meets Hot Topic.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying. So they bought.
Right?
I think
no one buys that stuff. Who buys those pop things anyway?
Yeah,
the little pop
they were doing
There's
really
a market.
bad
for a while.
Do you know?
But are they still? I mean,
do you know Think Geek? Like, isn't there a?
What is that? Sounds familiar.
It's like a geek shop on the internet.
A store? Oh,
Yep.
it's an internet.
Isn't there
site.
a GameStop Think Geek store in Manhattan? It's like on 6th Avenue or something.
I don't know. Never went to it.
So that's what they were trying to do. They were
okay.
trying to be a place where you can go for your silly nerd stuff, like your T-shirt that says it's got the green mushroom from Mario on it or something.
Every single console that has come out, you can download. They have the store. You can get any game.
Right.
I don't understand why we still make these plastic pieces, or the discs that will just no one needs.
The PlayStation spits it out all the time.
Yeah. Well, there was actually a reason for that.
What was that?
The Destiny PlayStation that I had a malfunctioning button.
No, you're right. They all did.
That did that.
They had this thing where there was pressure on the bottom where the button was that would force it open. It happened to me all the time.
Yeah.
Playing like Horizon Zero Dawn, and
I
all of a sudden
actually
it spits the disc out.
opened that PlayStation up and disabled the button.
Yeah.
So you can't hit it, but it fixed it.
I was just like, I'm just going to download it from now on. I don't need it.
Games.
Well, so anyway, the dude in this article basically says, scientists have determined with confidence From the hundreds of thousands of cases reported so far, the recommended period for self-isolation should be 14 days. And then he says, because we're Americans and we do more, make it 21. I kind of feel like this guy's joking. Like, are you serious? Like, it's bad enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, exactly.
But I'll tell you what, man. What if we're always one step behind this thing? And so instead of making it better, we actively are making it worse while the virus still just smashes its way through our society, through our country.
Natural selection. Like, people have, like, the insensitive people are out there calling it. It's
Dude,
like, let it run its course. Let it kill people. Let it blah, 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 blah. And it's like
I saw a viral video of a bunch of like young people on the beach doing shots off each other and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well.
And that's and people are wondering why the American numbers are spiking more than the Italy numbers.
Well, do you know that the Spanish flu predominantly hit young people?
Really?
Young people. But it could be because it was a lot of young people in war, in close quarters.
Oh, right.
But what I was reading from Stanford was that there was a previous flu in the late 1800s, so the older crowd had already some flu immunity. The younger kids didn't have it.
Oh, okay.
And so when the new virus hit, it was much, much harder. And some older people had partial immunity based on like strains. So young people got hit really hard. But here's the crazy thing. The first wave in the beginning of the year hit the elderly, and young people were mostly okay. The second wave in August hit the young people and was devastating. So they're predicting multiple waves on this one. I'm willing to bet we're going to see a bunch of young people in the hospital because these kids are as dumb as a box of rocks.
Yeah, they really are.
It's not all young people. It's just the young people that are dumb are going out and partying.
We'll call them the skull crackers.
Yeah. The skull breaker
breakers.
challenge.
Skull breakers.
There's data released by basically every news outlet and basically every organization tracking this shows the largest bracket of hospitalizations is 20 to 54. Now that's wide, and it could still be mostly 40 to 54. But they separated it that way, and it's basically 29 of all hospitalizations, and then 55 and above comes up to like a smaller number. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. I think it's 20 to 44. I'll probably get the numbers wrong. I don't have the article pulled up, so sue me.
Yeah.
But they broke it up into several different brackets. And I think I mentioned this the other day. What they're saying is young people are actually really likely to be hospitalized, but respond really well to ventilation.
Okay.
Older people don't.
So what does that mean? Yeah. So the old people aren't going. And
that means
getting the respirators or whatever.
They do, and then
ventilators?
So here's what I think would make sense in that regard is ventilation is going to save your life if you can't breathe. Young people have strong bodies, and so when their lungs fill up with fluid, the ventilation works, their bodies heal, and it takes in the oxygen.
Okay.
Older people struggle to heal, have weaker immune systems. Their lungs fill up with water or fluid, they can't breathe, and the ventilation doesn't do enough to actually save them. So you'll see more, apparently that's what they're saying, more young people in the hospital, but they respond really, really well to the treatments. Older people die. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., sometimes an hour or two. And we do have a full live recorded version of the show that includes a lot of comments and smaller segments you probably don't see. If you want to check that out, you can watch live at 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, or become a member of this channel. And for $5 a month, you get full access to all of the recorded podcasts. Every day after the show, we make them available in the community section of this YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe and stick around for more segments and more shows Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all in the next show.